families of 16 military officers detained for allegedly plotting to overthrow President Bola Tinubu's administration are seeking clemency. Relatives are reaching out to top government and political leaders, urging intervention to ensure that the officers are treated with leniency. The accused, whose ranks range from captain to brigadier-general, have been held since October of 2025. According to retired military officials, the officers are now awaiting court-martial after the military high command confirmed their guilt and the attempted coup. The arrest carried out by the Defense Intelligence Agency, DIA, drew widespread attention and raised concerns about stability within the armed forces. Families continue to call for measured justice, emphasizing the human impact of the ongoing legal and disciplinary proceedings. Now, to discuss this further, we're joined by National Secretary of the Retired Members of Nigerian Armed Forces, Dr. Roy Okhidievbie. He joins me live now virtually. Doctor, thanks so much for joining us, Dr. Roy. Under the Armed Forces Act, how are allegations of coup plotting typically investigated, or better yet, prosecuted?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. You know, the processes of addressing coup plot, suspicious coup plotting, and even when we have cases of officers and men being involved of suspicious activity, is addressed by a court-martial in the military. And it is even getting to a court-martial after reasonable investigations within the military has been conducted and tangible evidence against suspicious activities and suspected officers have been presented. And that has been the process. But as time went on, we all understood that the government of Nigeria shifted to many kinds of bargain, plea bargain, and other forms of intervention. But we are where we are.
Does the law provide room for clemency or mitigation before the conclusion of a court-martial?
Well, from observations, we also understand that there were so many cases that can be used as references, which I would not like to mention here. So many other officers that have been involved in coup d'etat, coup plotting, and they have even been sentenced, but the execution was also not carried out, you know, and later another government will come and give a pardon. But we all understand what's going on because in all of this divide, we are stretched within the manipulations of ethnicity, religion, and politics, you know, and the drive between ethnicity and religion is being manipulated properly by politics and economic advantages. So
we know that the families of those who have been accused as coup plotters, they are asking for leniency. So one has to ask at this point, what impact do you think that public appeal would have, especially from these families, on the military disciplinary system? Will it have any impact at all?
Yes, it will. It will on the basis of political negotiations, and everything is driving towards ethnic supremacy and political advantages towards 2027 elections. Now, if you understand what's going on, it took some time for the military to actually accept and come out to say investigations are concluded and necessary government uplines will be communicated. And it also took some time for the people and the government to actually come out to admit this. That means negotiations are ongoing. Now, we have references to begin to use as negotiations.
Right.
Now, when you begin to look at this direction, you now look at the ethnic profile of those that were involved and accused and suspected, you know, and you now look at where the direction is going to in 2027 and what will be the bargaining chips for relevance and supremacy.
You said that, clearly from October up until now, and even before we saw the rumors of what could have been a coup, this was a long time coming. So clearly there have been investigations behind the scenes. And so one has to ask you about what stage does the president, as the commander-in-chief, is expected to intervene in matters involving detained officers. Will he intervene at any point? Is there a stage he will come in?
Well, definitely, we all know that in a democracy, the president has veto power. Definitely, we know that he has executive decisions at his disposal, depending on where legality will allow him to display such executive decisions and veto power. Now, but if you really look at the coup d'etat and military court-martials, you will agree that there are other soldiers also, military officers that are in detention currently that have issues from the front line. And if you look at the last presidential pardon, where people that were even involved in drug abuse, people that were involved in murder, like that young lady and her husband, domestic issues, you know, they were coming up for pardon. Meanwhile, there are military personnel, military veterans that are caught up in military court-martials that are still in detention currently from front lines, and those cases were not brought up for address. So I think that we all should understand that political strategy is extreme in Nigeria, and political strategy always bedevils the proper structure of constitutionality and legality and the law and the constitution. You know, so I believe that definitely there are negotiations going on, and presidential pardon will be reviewed after the court-martial has executed its job and sentences have been made.
All right. I must say thank you for taking out the time to join us, Dr. Roy. He is the National Secretary of the Association of Retired Members of the Nigerian Army. Once again, thank you.